This episode of Room Tour Project is brought to you by Squarespace. What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, back with episode 168 of Room Tour Project. Time is flying. The series where we show off some of the best gaming setups to give you some ideas and inspirations for your own setup. And this episode is going to be a rapid fire, meaning we're going to show off one picture per setup and just run through, more than the usual 5 that we do, so maybe 10 to 15. And the reason I do this is because, every now and then I get some submissions that are just one picture, or I come across a really cool setup, but there's not enough information provided. So rapid fire edition here, not going to be talking specs, not going to be talking about the PC, one picture per setup, talking about what I like about it and all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's start off episode 168. Alright, first from DJ Discover, this setup is just very zen, that's what it is. With all the lights hanging down, those really kind of muted colors that really blend together nicely. It looks pretty cool, but the main thing that caught my eye was how he has this sort of AR projector integrated into his room. When I checked it out, it's called Lightform. I don't know if this guy just either has one early or if he's like one of the founders of it, but he has this going on in the room, which just makes this sort of thing he has hung up really trippy because the AR projector is shining on it. And I thought it was a really cool setup. I tried to get more information about him so we could just, have the setup on the show, but we couldn't, only had that initial photo, so I figured better than nothing. I also really liked the amount of shadows and reflections from the light sources. It just gives a whole new kind of texture to his walls, which was pretty cool. So yeah, thought it was an interesting setup for sure. Now is GXDASSASSIN, and this is just one of those gaming setups where, yes, it's kind of being overtaken by the Nanoleaf Aurora light panels. Your eyes just go right to them. But I did like the triple monitor setup with the mounted TV, so lots of screen real estate, a light strip behind the monitors and the TV to give it some separation from the wall and that accent glow. Then you have the light panels on each side. Thought it was cool, nice to those bluish cool tones as well. Figured we'd show it off. Next is JUNSUE, and I love this one obviously because of all that natural lighting. It looks like just a really clean and minimal setup, and then the plants everywhere. Nothing wrong with plants overtaking the room, especially with all that natural light. I just thought it was really refreshing. That's the big thing here. Very refreshing, simple setup. You guys know I'm all about that. Now is VGS from the Vietnam Gaming Setup Group. And these guys actually was in contact with them to get them on the show because I saw this and was like, oh my god, this is a crazy, crazy gaming room. But they kind of went radio silent on me, so I figured, okay, one picture, perfect candidate for the rapid fire edition. But just look at this room. I love the really dark walls. It's going to make a lot of the prints and stuff really pop, which I think looks really cool hung up as it is. That crazy, crazy PC on the desk, look, that is an alien ship. That is insane. Just a really, really great gaming room that really embodies everything gaming related. Now we got KOONSTER with the seemingly one of those 49-inch ultra wides on the bottom with it overhead up top mounted there nicely. A little display off to the right to kind of show you CPU gauges and temps and all that kind of activity stuff with the PC. It's I don't want to say simple because it's not a simple looking setup, but I think ergonomically and in terms of function, it's pretty great because you have the sound bar there right underneath your peripherals, along with a gamepad, the phone holder, the smart clock. I just think it's laid out nicely for a very functional looking setup. And of course, a little bit of green, that's what's up. And yes, this is a crazy awesome room. Absolutely tons of natural ambient lighting there. You have those massive windows, also tons of plants. This is a great, cozy kind of room. Looking like a dual setup here at that L-shaped desk in the middle where the desks meet. You can see both of the PCs. And then they have their monitors there. So they're kind of sitting almost back to back. But yeah, dual setup on the L-shaped desk. I just love all that natural light. This is just super awesome. Imagine just sitting in here during a sunset or a nice sunrise. Man, this is awesome. Now we've got Worm on steroids, and now my imagination's just running a mile a minute trying to envision that. But when I saw the setup, I thought we had this one on the show, but I looked back and I couldn't find it anywhere because this would be a fantastic candidate, again, for these simple, minimal setup editions that we show. This is just, perfect for that. Have a nice wooden desk that's going to complement the shelf above the wall and those prints, sort of like a black and white theme with all the peripherals being all white, even down to the speakers and the wallpaper. And the black accent's going to be a nice contrast with the mouse pad, the PC, the chair, and even a little bit, you know, with the prints above the wall. It's going to just bring out those colors even more. So I just thought, man, like, this is really cool. I wish I could have gotten more of this. Single monitor, no RGB, so nothing too crazy. Definitely impressed by this worm on steroids. And now we've got Ace, and kind of like a spoiler alert, at the time I'm doing this voiceover, I film like weeks ahead and stuff, so this is probably gonna be on the previous episode with the full setup, because I just got in contact with him, so he's down to submit a full, you know, tour of his room. So if you want to check it out and see the newest 2019 kind of revision to his setup, check the previous 167 episode, but figured still include it with this because it is kind of different. The major thing here is the color tones. There's a lot more of that kind of copper or like a rose gold to this setup that he didn't have in the newer 2019 one. But I just also love the simplicity, really nice and clean looking, like this looks like a render. I was really impressed with this and a lot of his other photos he had. So, like I said, this is an older one. Check the previous episode, 167, if you want to see his new 2019 setup, and trust me, you will not be disappointed. Ace is the man. Next up, we have CLAUDEGABRIEL. When I first saw this, I was like, all right, now this is actually from like one of those modern magazines, something like Dwell maybe. I don't know what it is, but like some photos just really separate themselves from others. Whether it's the type of camera they're taking, maybe they shot it in RAW, so they can really do a lot in terms of color correcting afterwards. But this just looks like a fantasy kind of modern setup you would see in like a movie. You know? I don't know. I can't really even pinpoint what it is. It might just be like the dark cherry wood floors with like the black desk, and you have that really warm lighting in both the lamps that gives it this sort of like surreal glow. I don't know. Also, very simple. The one monitor, nothing too cluttered really. And yeah, this is a modern looking setup all around, and it looks friggin' awesome. Now this one from HEEBMEAT isn't going to be so much about his setup, but we just gotta admire this view. I believe that's Atlanta. But just imagine like having a setup right next to this massive window. You're up tons of stories high, total high-rise building here. All that natural lighting and just that view at night with all the lights over the city. This is just something magical. So we don't even really get a good look at the setup there, looking like maybe a triple monitor with a 2 kind of in frame, maybe there's one off to the right side that we don't see. But again, just like this would be so cool, just having this crazy awesome view right by your desktop when you're gaming. So I definitely want to include this one because not too often we see these sort of views from a setup. Then lastly, don't know how to properly say this, it's the XRISTOFOROS, something like that. But this is another great example of when you get to mount your monitors and just take advantage of the extra screen real estate, because I can't tell exactly what kind of texture that is behind it, whether it's real or not. But, you know, having that mounted TV overhead, still kind of spanning that wallpaper to bring out some of the greens, make it more, you know, lifelike. I think it looks really cool because you also have that warm lighting behind the desk right next to the window. So it looks like there's a tree right outside. So maybe that kind of, you know, the brush or whatever kind of foliage that is highlights the monitor. And I'm ranting. You guys know I rant about setups. I can rant about setups for 5 hours. The point is, I like this setup. It does a lot of complementing each other, I think unintentionally. That's what makes it really, really cool. And I just think, you know, dark walls, when you have like that sort of darker color, it really makes other colors really pop and stand out. And this is a great example of that. This episode of Room Tour Project is sponsored by Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can create a beautiful looking website or an online store with their tons of award-winning templates for you to pick from. They provide tons of templates that can match your fit or your needs. And it's an all-in-one platform. You don't have to install anything, learn how to code, patch, or upgrade anything ever. Plus, you'll receive their award-winning 24/7 customer service if you ever need any help. Squarespace is used by a wide variety of users out there, from content creators, musicians, artists, restaurants, and more. To sign up, go to squarespace.com/randomfrank to get a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. So again, that's squarespace.com/randomfrank. I'll put the link for you guys down below. You can save 10% off your first purchase. Start getting those websites made. That'll wrap it up for episode 168 of Room Tour Project, this rapid fire edition. I hope you enjoyed. And don't forget, if you like this episode, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up and follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.